I keep moving. As a newcomer in Sweden, you have to. My name is Yana. When I first arrived with my 2 children, life was just hours of logistics. 3 hours every single day, just to get them to school and preschool. I applied for 76 jobs in the first 3 months, and luckily, I got one as a product owner. But less than a year later, the layoff came. The Swedish system tries to help, but it's a puzzle that doesn't always fit. Since the start of 2024, I've sent out over 500 applications. Even with my background in Ukraine as a project manager and my theoretical AI knowledge background, the rejections just keep coming. I've been in the housing queue for over 2 years, but without a permanent contract, I can't rent an affordable home from them. And I'm constantly dipping into my savings just to keep things running. Every drawer I try to open is locked from the other side. Now I'm on a short-term contract, working 8 hours a week in retail, and I'm still volunteering as a speaker to support the tech community. I talk about product management and stakeholder alignment, while quietly wondering where my own path is heading. I've met so many people through this, and our stories, they all sound so familiar.
I feel lost sometimes. I want to know what are the right skills to have today.
Technology is changing so quickly, and I'm afraid of being left behind.
Everyone says AI is the future, but no one explains how to be part of it.
Yana, do you ever feel depressed?
No, it's not me. I just keep moving.
What we just saw in the movie. Thank you. What we just saw in the movie is not a lack of talent. It's a lack of access. Yana had the skills, the experience, and the drive, but was still struggling to get in. Potential is everywhere. Opportunity is not. And that's exactly why we are here today. But first of all, I'm so happy to see so many of you gathering, especially at an event like this where we bring together people. People who are really shaping what the tech and the society will look like going forward. Because while we talk about AI as something that will transform everything, we also know that it won't transform everything for everyone. AI accelerates opportunity, but it can also accelerate inequality, especially in areas such as hiring, access to job, and career mobility. And what makes this moment so interesting right now is that we're actually facing both sides at once. Yana's story is unfortunately not unique. It reflects something much bigger. A system where talents do exist, but access does not. And for me, I often tend to see this as kind of a paradox. We have a growing shortage of AI, but at the same time, we have people, skilled, ready, capable, who are still locked out from those opportunities. We have companies struggling to find the right talent, but we have talented people who can't get in. And this is actually where it becomes critical, because AI is not neutral. It can for sure expand access, but it can also reinforce bias. And at scale, it will amplify whatever we design. So the question is not what AI will do, but how we choose to respond to it, because talents already exist. Will opportunity catch up? But before we jump in, let me just quickly introduce myself. My name is Olivia and I work as a tech strategy manager at Accenture and lead our AI for civil society here in Sweden. That means that I spend a lot of time working with exactly these types of questions. How AI is transforming work, how it's reshaping access to opportunity, and what it means for people, not just businesses. And today, I'm also extra proud to share that Accenture, together with Microsoft and Connecting Jobs, part of Beredskapslyftet, has newly launched an AI aspiring program where we empowering unemployed newcomers in Sweden with AI skills to ensure that no one is left behind. But more about this in the upcoming panel. But I also have another role today, and that is that I will be your moderator. So let's say goodbye to Olivia from Accenture and hello, your moderator. And as your moderator, I will of course make sure that you feel familiar to what we are supposed to do during the next 40 minutes. And we have a quite full-packed agenda. So let me guide you through it. As we just saw in the movie, we started with the exactly reality that the AI tide is already here. This isn't about if the change is coming, it's about how we choose to respond to it. And moving on to what we're soon about to do is to test our own perspectives through a set of hot takes. It will be slightly uncomfortable statements. No right, no wrong, just your honest reaction. So this is definitely a chance for you to challenge your assumptions and get honest on where you stand. And from there, we will bring in our amazing panel where we have brought together leaders from Microsoft, from AI Sweden, from Connecting Jobs, lived experiences, who will talk about and give us examples of how they are contributing to a more AI-inclusive ecosystem. And last, but definitely not least, we will of course bring it back to all of you guys, because let's be honest, none of this actually matters unless it turns into action. So I will already now leave you with one question to keep in mind. What is one thing, only one thing, that you can do to contribute to a more AI-inclusive future? Please keep this with you along the way, and we will come back to it in the end. But with that, I am super, super happy to welcome up on stage Åstra Kase from Mentimeter, who will help us facilitate the AI hot takes. Warm welcome up, Åstra. Hello, Åstra.
Thank you so much.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited to get going with a little bit of post-lunch interactivity. What do you say? Should we start?
Give it a go.
All right, so my name is Åstra, and I'm representing Mentimeter here today. I have a remote on my phone. I'm not texting my friends, so just so you know. If you're not familiar with Mentimeter, we are an engagement platform, so please scan the QR code if you have your phone out already. If not, get it out of the bag and scan the QR code. And let's see what the room thinks about some of the AI hot takes. All right, so I love to see that number spinning. We're like over 300. What's the capacity of the room? Interesting. All right, slowing down. No, we're not. It just keeps going. All right, but let's get the show on the road. And before we start with the hot takes, I would just like to know what option best describes your current stage in work or studies. So we want to know who is in the room with us today. A lot of people earlier in their career, but also quite a lot mid-career. That's also how I would answer this question. This is like the normal distribution curve. I remember this from math class a long time ago. All right, so now we have a bit of a temperature of who is here with us today. So let's get started with the first AI hot take. AI-generated music will replace human artists. Yes or no? All right, this is quite an overwhelming no. Although we have some people, either mid-career or some of the unknown, some who joined a little bit later, who think that it might be replaced. I think music has long been, you know, the expression of human creativity, so I totally resonate with the answer of the room as well. But we have seen that there has been some virality with AI-generated music going viral on different platforms. When you can generate a song in seconds that represents any emotion, there's surely some space for AI-generated music as well. Let's see what we have next. Really think about this one. AI should have the final say in life or death medical decisions. Another overwhelmingly no question. And here it's worth saying that AI can be used in medical field. You know, it can help us flag patterns or access more data, raise some new analysis that maybe the human mind would not have gone to. But the final decision is a human responsibility. It's us as humans who have to live with the consequences of our choices. So totally resonate with the room here. What about this next one? This might be a slightly more controversial one. Are AI-assisted development or performance reviews better than human-written ones? All right, a little bit more of a split that we're seeing here. We're seeing quite a lot of yeses, especially from early career, mid-career professionals, but also quite a lot of senior professionals. And executives and leadership seem to have an opinion that it can be used for both as well. And that is very much the case. I think the thing about performance reviews or development reviews is that it always has to start from the human, because the person that is receiving this is also human. So you need to be genuine and you need to have good intent in mind. But can you use AI to make yourself more concise, to speed up the process by which you deliver the review? Totally. And the last question, kind of summarizing the session that we have here with Accenture. Will AI make the tech industry more inclusive? Quite the split opinion here. And I'm not going to dig more into this right now because our panel will do exactly that. But before I leave you, I want to let you know that you have the opportunity to ask your questions to the panel coming up. So this is the same Menti that you have on your phone. So if you click the open Q&A button, you can submit questions. I see we have 9 already. So yeah, thank you so much for having me, and interested to see your questions and have them answered later in the panel. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ostra. I think that was quite interesting and good to get a feeling of what you think in the audience here. And maybe just summarizing, I think we can probably all agree that we are not all starting on the same page. Different experiences, different levels of trust, and different expectations of what AI will do. So the question is then, what do we actually do with it? As I tried at least to emphasize in the beginning here, this isn't just what we think. It's about what we build, what we prioritize, and ultimately who gets access. So the time has come to leave these perspectives, the slightly uncomfortable statements, the AI hot takes, and move into practice. And we have brought together an amazing panel with voices from business, from tech, from research, lived experiences, people who are not just talking about AI, but actively shaping how it's used and for whom. So now I want you all to give the biggest applause to Ranya Said, Alice Boström, Ebba Heselius, and Yana Litvinova. Welcome up on stage. Hello.
Hello.
How are you, ladies?
Amazing.
Amazing. I hope that you are empowered to what we're about to do here in the panel. And I think we would kick this off in a quite simple way by just go around the group here and tell us who you are, what you do, and how AI shows up in your world today. Let's start with you, Ranya.
Yes, thank you. Really great to be here. It's a full hall. Well, my name is Ranya, work for Beredskapslyftet and the part of it connecting jobs. And my role is being Sweden responsibility for all labor market within our organization. And my encounter with AI is of course, in my work, but foremost in Aspire program that we are doing with Accenture and Microsoft.
Thank you. And Alice.
Hi everyone, my name is Alice Boström. I am working with startups and scale-ups at Microsoft. And AI has been part of my work life ever since the beginning. I joined Microsoft 3 years ago, straight from university. Don't have a technical background, I studied business and management. But ever since then, around the time when I started, we announced M365 Copilot at Microsoft. It's one of our GenAI tools. So I've kind of been part from the beginning and have a really close track on the involvement of GenAI, both how it is used at Microsoft and it is how it is transforming how we work, but also for our customers and society as a whole. So really excited to be here today.
Thank you. And Yana.
Hello, everyone. I'm Yana. And as you saw in the movie, I currently work in retail. And I bring more than 10 years of experience in tech, in product and startup environments. And I use AI in my everyday life to do budget optimization, trips plannings, and creating presentations and learning new skills, of course.
Good. And last but not least, Ebba.
Yes, so my name is Ebba Heselius, and I would say that I have two hats today, both that I work for AI Sweden, that is Sweden's National Center for Applied AI, but then I'm also a PhD researcher, and I researched leadership and digitalization and embodied leadership and digitalization. So that's my research. And how AI show up in my world, I think it's an amazing question. And I would say it's almost like my extended cortex. It's like an extension of myself. And I use it for everything. And it's amazing to like just talk to about different topics. And I almost feel like it's a part of myself in a way. So yeah.
So a digital twin, basically.
A digital extension of myself.
Sounds good. And as you saw in the hot takes, there are quite many different perspectives in this room at the moment. And that's also why this conversation matters so much. And if I am supposed to put on my Accenture hat once again, we see that companies move very fast when it comes to AI adoption. But inclusion is not always keeping up at the same page. So Alice, you will get the first question here. Why are Microsoft investing so heavily in AI upskilling initiatives? And what are actually the most urgent gaps that you are seeing?
Yes. So for those of you who might not have heard about it before, Microsoft is investing in something that we have decided to call AI-Lyftet. And it is a national upskilling initiative with the clear goal that no one should be left behind. And the ambition is to upskill 250,000 people in AI. And we are targeting everyone here, so irrespective of background, whether you have the goal to learn the fundamentals of AI, if you're a leader wanting to lead through AI transformation, if you're just a user of AI, or even if you're actually building your own AI tools. So that is what we're doing in AI-Lyftet. And there are many different perspectives on why we're doing this. And I think it all comes down to responsibility. Microsoft is a major provider of AI technology, and with that comes responsibility. And it is responsibility in so many different layers. It is in how these tools are being built. It is how they are being distributed. And it is in how they are being used. And if we're looking at how they are being used, that is where this AI upskilling initiative comes in. And yeah.
Interesting.
We'll start there.
Ebba, you said you have a PhD. That means that you're quite deep into research. What are your feelings?
I think that the technical upskilling is the easy part. I think the humanness of the collaboration with AI is the difficult part when it comes to human judgment and human agency and how we can keep that core in the collaboration with AI. So I think that's an important task that we as a society have to solve, because we see, for example, in the upcoming election that all the young people are using AI to learn about politics and what kind of values are they learning then? And I think that's a very important task for us, or opportunity to we want people to use AI because it's an amazing tool and it's so much creativity and so on. But we still need to keep the human agency part in it. And how do we learn about that? I think that's very interesting and important going forward.
I definitely agree. And one gap that we have found throughout this project is the very basic fundamental level of understanding what AI actually is. So we need to understand what is generative AI, what is an LLM, how do you structure a good prompt. And I think that can scare away a few people, that like saying that you need to understand what an LLM is. That will help people go, this is not for me, I don't want to get into this. But the reason why it's so crucial that we understand these fundamentals is because on the other hand, if we don't know how these tools actually work, how are we going to make sure that we get all of the effect and benefits out from it? And on the other hand, if we don't know how it works, how are we going to make sure that we can spot when it is being misused?
Going back to my paradox then, basically.
Exactly.
Thank you. So we have talked about access, we have talked about skills, but AI is also reshaping something else, how we lead. And Ebba, you said that you have a passion for leadership, which I know. How do you see that AI is reshaping leadership? And what does it actually take to lead in a more inclusive way?
I think that we are going to become hybrids. And by that I mean that we're going to lead both, of course, AI agents and humans. And then as a leader in the future, you need to be very good at balancing those both. And to identify where is the human part very important and crucial when it comes to this kind of judgmental and human agency and so on. And where does AI come in and are the best worker or the best analyst and so on. So I think that's a very important task. But also another thing is to recognize that, and the skill of being a human leader is a lot about what they talked about previous sessions as well, about empathy and a lot about how do you show up in the room and how do you make people feel comfortable and how do you make people feel safe and so on. So I think that's something we need to up value in our society, that kind of intelligence, that it's more like the body intelligence almost, that you can create this kind of feeling of we are a team together and so on. And that's something that we need to upgrade somehow in our society. I think that's important, as a leader in the future. And of course, also coming back to who are invited to the room when we talk about how we also create these kind of AI systems and what kind of values are we raising, what kind of voices are we raising in those conversations. I think that's very important. So it's not only certain values that are represented in the room.
And Alice, going back to you again, is this something that you recognize as well based on Microsoft's perspectives on AI?
Yeah, definitely. I would say one thing that we're seeing more than ever is that leaders really need to lead by example. And we're trying to do that at Microsoft as well. Our entire leadership team got their own personal trainer when it comes to AI, someone to help them adopt this new technology, someone to learn from and learn from each other. And I think these types of initiatives brings everyone together in this journey together, and it really sets the tone for the entire organization that we are in this together. It is okay to experiment, we should learn together. So leading by example is from my perspective, the key in this and a key to including everyone.
And I think that's such an important part because behind this technology shift, it's not only a technology shift. In the end of the game, it is a leadership shift. And just looking from Accenture's perspective again, what we are seeing, companies who succeeds are actually the one that is not treating AI as a technology transformation or implementation. They are the ones that is treating AI as a people transformation. But if we make this really, really real then, we heard about connecting jobs, and connecting jobs has supported more than 918 newly arrivals in Sweden. 918, that's worth an applaud, right? So 980 newly arrived individuals in securing employment. But now I'm looking at you, Ranya.
Yes.
Finally. Which industries do you think are the hardest to recruit into right now? And what are actually the real barriers?
I mean, foremost, the labor market in Sweden is looking really difficult in all businesses, in all industries, because of the unemployment numbers we have in Sweden. So the competition for newly comers to Sweden is much higher. People like Yana has bigger competition to face in the Swedish labor market. And we see a lot of different barriers in the labor market right now as it is, because we help a lot with every sector. But white-collar jobs, the competition is bigger. Blue collars is easier. However, we see it as a waste of competence because we think that right person should have the right job. Do we have people like Yana? She should be in the right place, not in retail, but within tech. And to answer to, the question in what industry, actually tech industry is one of the hardest one. Many tech companies in Sweden are global and have global processes, and they might feel that they are already doing great job with international talents, but the inclusiveness in Sweden and finding Swedish newcomers with the right competence, in that sense, I think there's a lot to go in that path.
So it's not only about skills, it's about access, language, mentorship, someone who actually opens a door.
Yes, and of course there are barriers, and I've been in this business for a long time, even in 2015 when Sweden had a lot of newcomers here. I had some incurement with the tech companies, and the requirements are different today than they were in 2015. For example, the language skills of the candidates or the cultural skills of the candidates, they're much higher level on that perspective, which surprises me a little bit, why those needs are occurring now, especially with AI techniques that you can actually use this tool for this.
Very interesting. But I would like to bring this down to a more human level. And Yana, we saw you in the amazing movie earlier, and I've seen it a couple of times, but I still get emotional every time I see it. You were part of the Connecting Jobs Network, and I'm very curious to hear from you here on stage. What difference did actually Connecting Jobs make for you, and what would have been difference without the support?
Yeah, thank you, Olivia. So Connected Jobs really did a great difference to me. They connected me with mentors from top Swedish companies. And this way I received direct feedback on my experience and what roles fit me and where to focus in my future career development. And without this network, it would not be possible to connect with those mentors by myself.
Thank you so much for sharing it, Yana, and thanks for the movie as well. I have now put my phone here. It's not that I will text someone, but I was scrolling the Mentimeter here, and please keep it coming if you have any questions. One question that I think stand out here, and maybe this one is to you, Ranya. Are you ready?
Yes.
What is one thing companies say they're doing to drive inclusion in tech, but in reality not doing well enough yet? That's a tricky one.
Yes, nice question, thank you. I would say, I was touching upon it before, the belief that they are doing enough. The belief that they are diverse enough, which I understand in tech you have international competence, but when it comes to competence and newcomers in Sweden, where we have a big competence gap in Sweden, why look outside? And I think there's a lack of processes internally, and I don't know if that's true. Maybe Microsoft could answer that. But many times I think the will is there, the willingness of doing something. However, the structures are working as barrier for door opening, and you really need courageous leaders that will do that extra thing to make sure that you make sure to have an inclusive workplace.
Any reactions from you, Alice, from Microsoft?
I'm sorry.
No, but I think that it's such a good point and a really important point to bring up. And I think from my perspective, what's missing are these intentional efforts that are actually working to bridge the gap. It is one thing to just say that we are open to bringing in diverse talent, but it's another thing to actually go out and do actions to take us there, to help and support these people. And I think from my perspective, that's one of the reasons why I'm so happy to be involved with the AI Spire initiative, because I feel like that's really one of those efforts where we are truly bridging this gap. We are going from ambition to action. So I think that is something that we can be proud of. And I totally resonate with what you're saying, that the global perspective is one thing, but we also have a responsibility as Microsoft Sweden, as Swedish citizens, and that is something for us to own and us to lead. So.
Yeah, and I surely agree about doing the action together with the AI Spire program. I think candidates like Yana here would be happy to join this upskilling program, and also together with Accenture and Microsoft. I think it's like a great partnership, and hopefully we will lift it up and scale it up to be able to have it in whole Sweden.
Definitely. That's our ambition, at least. Yeah. And I think that's such an interesting answer from you as well, Alice, especially this gap between intention and reality. And I think that's something that we definitely need to work with much more going forward. But if we look ahead then, Ebba, what do you think, if you had to be honest now, where do you think we risk getting this wrong when it comes to AI and inclusion?
I mean, I think we all know that we're standing ahead of the biggest evolution in human history, and I think we really need to get it right? And we need to have the right kind of people in the room when we design this future. And we can't create this kind of A team and B team where a few of us are a part of that evolution and some people are left behind. So I mean, that's a very broad answer. But with that said, I think all of us, everyone in this room, we need to be more ambitious, and we need to ask the uncomfortable questions in our teams. And maybe you are part of a tech company. Let's start this kind of initiatives where we invite newcomers to be a part of the team, or have this kind of initiatives, and dare to be a little bit uncomfortable and ask questions, why and how, and what are the measures here for success, for example. It can't be only about economical values. Maybe we have other values that are important, for example. So I think that's my answer. And yeah, I think all of you in this room have a big role to play in order to get it right from the beginning. I mean, we have an amazing opportunity as well. So it's an amazing time to be alive. Yeah.
Anyone who sees it differently.
It's hard to go against it. But I mean, you are right. It is a great time to be alive, as you put it. But it's because it's such a big transformation, and I don't think it's like when you begin, Olivia, with that we are in this transformation. The tide is here, so it's how do we handle this in best way, and not discuss are we in the tide or not. So we need to change and shift our mindset. I think that's important.
And also talking about being a female leader, I think there are a few values that are connected to that, and how can we raise that as a very important intelligence going forward. So I mean, it can be framed as a female leadership, but also as a leadership that is about empathy and inclusion and seeing and building relationships. And I think that's something when collaborating with AI, that's something that's our very unique selling point as a human. So I think that could empower us to go forward with that values in mind. Yeah.
I fully agree with you, both of you. Time goes fast when we're having fun, they say, and we have one last question, or I have one last question, and that is to all of you. So I want you now to think, what is one thing people in this room can do to help shape a more inclusive AI future? Starting with you again, Ranya.
All right. I mean, we are such a power here today. Look at the room, full of competence, full of power in positions. And we can actually choose. Each and one of us can choose, what can I do? And I think being a door opener and being courageous from your perspective, because I cannot sit in your place or your place. I can only sit my place and start the change from there. Please do that.
Thank you. Alice.
Great. I'll leave it off with a quote. So the most important step towards inclusion isn't expertise, it is participation. So lean in.
Thank you, Alice. My point would be don't assume that AI only for technical people. Make space for non-technical people to contribute.
Thank you. And Ebba.
Yeah, I want to raise your perspective that I think this is a technology that is so easy to use. So it's also very empowering in that sense. So just go out and try and be bold and step into the AI boardroom and you have a voice there. I think that's important. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, and please give them a warm, big applause.
Olivia.
Thank you,
Olivia.
Thank you. So there is a lot of things to take in, and we're soon about to come to the end for this focus session. But if we are honest, none of this actually matters unless it turns into action. And I started with a quite simple statement. Talent exists, access does not. But the real question is then, what do we actually do with it? So I would like you all to take a moment just for yourself and reflect. What is one thing you can do to contribute to a more inclusive AI future, starting today? Reflect for a couple of seconds. Maybe it's how you hire. Maybe it's who you include in your next project. Or maybe it's how you introduce AI to your team. Now I want you all to pick up your phones. I believe you have them in front of you since due to the Mentimeter. And send a text message to someone you know and share one action. And try to make it as specific as possible. And then we now have the final piece, and I think this one is the most important part. Please don't let this stay in the room. Share it. Take one step this week. Take one step today. It doesn't need to be big. It doesn't need to be complex. It just needs to happen and be real. So take this with you. So it's time to wrap up. And I strongly believe that we don't need to have endless of conversation about how to drive inclusion in AI. What we need is people acting on it. And we heard from the panel what we need to do. So I think if you just look around yourself in this room, potential is everywhere. But access, that is something that we create together. And before we end this focus session, I will just like to do a bit of marketing. If you're interested in joining the AI Aspiring Upskilling Program, please sign this or scan this QR code and register. And if you have any question, any thoughts, anything else, you will find me in the booth, Accenture's booth, outside, and I'm happy to talk more about AI and inclusion. And with that, I will say thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much for listening, and see you outside. Thanks a lot.